Hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And here are the goods. So, Terrence, 2016 again! This time, director, writer, creator actually,
Okay.
Garry Marshall.
All right.
Now, a lot of you, including this guy, don't know who Garry Marshall is.
Exactly. Can't you see by the look on my face? Who is this?
Garry Marshall is actually responsible for some of the most iconic television shows of all time!
Okay, such as?
Happy Days.
Really? Oh, the guy Garry Marshall!
Laverne and Shirley.
Now I know! God.
Mork and Mindy. Joni Loves Chachi.
Right.
Responsible for a lot in
Charles in Charge?
No, not Charles in Charge.
What?
No, not Charles in Charge. That was Scott Baio. Anyway.
No, I was like...
Willie Ames, though. Willie Ames.
No, I didn't say in the movie. I meant like actually producing it.
No, he did not.
Oh,
that I know
okay.
of. We'll already get it. We'll check it out. But anyway, but he's like, he created a lot of those iconic old school TV land shows.
Yeah.
And made stars out of a lot of those people. He was actually a writer also. He actually wrote the kind of like a skit on this old show called Love American Style, right? And he introduced Richie Cunningham on that show. It was kind of like a variety show type.
Oh, wow.
Not really a variety show, but it was kind of like a they were just like different stories, you know, kind of like I have no idea. Anyway, but he introduced Richie Cunningham. It became Happy Days, and then Happy Days spun off all these different.
You know, for the longest time, all those shows were set back in the 50s era. I actually thought they got filmed in the 50s when I was a kid.
Hey, well, that means that they did a freaking awesome job.
I was like, man, this show's super old. How do they keep coming out with these new episodes?
How's it in color?
I know,
awesome.
Right?
Well, anyway, so he created that, and then he got into the movies, and he did movies. Most famous was Pretty Woman. He directed Pretty Woman, made really big star of Julia Roberts, and then he also made a big star out of Anne Hathaway when he directed The Princess Diaries and The Princess Diaries 2. So he was huge, man. He was a really big staple when it comes to Hollywood. And I mean, his sister's Penny Marshall, who's directed herself. You know, she's directed Big, and didn't she direct League of Their Own?
A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own. So you know that family and him. I mean, it's going to be a big loss.
No, I mean, I didn't realize his impact until you started naming all the shows that I used to watch as a kid. That he had something to do with those. So I mean, definitely a big loss, especially for movies and TV. So
yeah, he even worked with like George Burns and Dick Van Dyke and all those other guys. So hey, rest in peace, and you know, your stuff's gonna live forever. So
yeah, definitely.
Rest in peace.
His name will definitely be known forever.
So some lighter news.
Yes, please. Let's not always start with dark news.
I know, really. Well, it stays kind of dark because it involves ghosts and your favorite movie, Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. I didn't beat that movie up. I wanted to beat that movie up at first, but then I wanted to go in even, calm, accept what it was, have no prejudgment. It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't a dumpster fire, but it was nowhere near the original film. That's what I gotta say.
Well, I did see the original film after I saw it because he suggested it to do it. And if you guys have not seen Terrence's review, check it out. He's wrong on some things, but it's great. It was a really good review. You are crazy if you think Kate McKinnon was bad in that movie.
You know what?
She was the funniest, one of the funniest out of all of them.
Okay, so
she was awesome.
After I saw comments in regards to me making that statement, I actually kind of looked out to see what everybody else thought in their reviews. That is the dividing line as far as how people viewed the characters in this movie. Everybody either hated her or loved her, and I'm on the side that I did not like her. I love her I love her as an actor and on SNL as a character, but she played an SNL character in a Ghostbusters movie, and that's not what I wanted.
Well, I don't think that. See, Harold Ramis played him quirky. Played Egon.
No, and I got that part.
Okay, maybe she did take it a little bit further, but
too far.
But I think that was actually a valuable part of the whole character.
I know, to make it her a little bit different. Yeah,
she made it her own. She was not trying to be Egon. She made it her own, and that's why I like it so much. But I can see her licking that gun all freaking day. All right. Anyway,
but it just seemed like she wasn't in the same movie sometimes, and I was like, they're trying to be serious, and then she's like doing something like
the chips was hilarious when she's eating the chips. And when she has the wig on, it's sorry, spoiler. Anyway, all right. So the movie grossed $46 million, nowhere near being a bomb that everybody thought that it was going to gross
not a
like
bomb,
20.
But it is. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But, what I was going to say is that it's not a bomb, but you know, for a $144 million movie, that's not good.
Well, if you and I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you factor in the budget when it comes to marketing and all this other stuff, that's an additional 100. So I think it'll end at about 150 for domestically. It's gonna be kind of rough overseas, because Paul Feig's movies like Bridesmaids and Heat and all those movies, they really did not do well over there. And from what I understand is that it's not gonna open in China at all.
No, well, it's not gonna open in China because they have this thing about supernatural in the movies, so they don't really allow those over in China. But then two, his movies aren't, subject matter isn't something that translates for every country. Yeah, so I don't think
he needs Terminators.
I don't think this movie is gonna or Transformers. I don't think this movie's gonna make its budget. Because if you think about every movie that comes out, the first week it makes the majority of its money. The second week it takes about a 50% loss, and then a 50% loss and 50% until basically it gets down to not being in the theater anymore. Right. So if it takes a 50% loss at best, it takes a 50% loss. We're only looking about like 23 million next week.
But you're only looking at it from a weekend standpoint. It's still making money every day because people are going to the movies on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
But then also too, we were getting ready to run into Star Trek. We're getting ready to run into Lights Out. We're getting ready to run into what else comes out this week?
And then I'm glad I'm glad you brought that up again. All right, so check us out. So this weekend, you're absolutely right. It's got some really stiff competition with Star Trek Beyond, with Lights Out, and then with what's the third one? There's Ice Age.
Oh, there you go.
So
oh my God, that's gonna kill it.
Ice Age is right now it's projected to open at about 37 million, where Star Trek's predicted to open at about almost 60. So that'll knock it down a pretty good way. When you factor in Lights Out, which pretty much was budgeted for $5, it's gonna make its friggin' money back. James Wan is on a roll.
Right.
He's on a roll right now, and then the fact that it's a PG-13 movie, those teenagers are gonna flock to the theaters too. So it's going to make that's gonna be some really stiff competition this week. You're absolutely right. I predicted that it's actually gonna either finish the weekend at 4 or 5
million.
Fifth place.
Oh, fifth.
Fourth or fifth place.
I'm going to say 4 or 5 million. I don't think it cracks top 5. I think it's out of the top 5 this weekend.
Okay, well, I said 3. You already know the top 3 that are opening this weekend. What's going to beat it from Holdover? Nothing.
We still have...
Nothing. Finding Dory's already going down.
Tarzan.
Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, okay. Secret Life of Pets. Tarzan's still out there.
It's not... I think Tarzan's done. I think Secret Life of Pets will be 4th. And
Tarzan's been in the top 5 for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, well now they got Ghostbusters gonna be number 4 or 5.
All right, I think Ghostbusters doesn't.
Maybe 5.
I think Ghostbusters falls out. I think it's like number 6.
Beer bet. All right. So it does have stiff competition this weekend, but it's still has gotten some pretty decent scores. It's at A- cinema score and B+ with audiences. So
wait, Ghostbusters?
Yes, Ghostbusters.
And check those numbers.
And Sony has greenlit a sequel for it, so there will be a second one. And
by the way, they greenlit a lot of sequels. They greenlit a sequel for the new Terminator franchise. They ain't happening. They greenlit a sequel for Green Lantern. Didn't happen. They greenlit.
But I think that they're going. Well, that's going to happen regardless. I mean, the Green Lantern Corps is already on the slate.
But it's not following that same timeline. It's
not the same one. It's a reboot.
It's a reboot. So that's not the sequel. It's sequel to that film. But even better, they greenlit a sequel for Fantastic Four. Fan-4-Stick. They greenlit a sequel for that. That one come out? No.
Not yet.
No, there's not going to be a sequel.
When Fox gives Marvel the rights or partial rights, then
it'll be a reboot and it won't count. So if you stay to the end of if you stay to the end of Ghostbusters and you saw the little Easter egg that they had at the end, just be happy that they mentioned it, because it ain't never happening. It ain't never happening.
It is gonna happen. All right, so Star Trek 3 opens this weekend.
Okay.
Okay, it's gotten some decent reviews. Nothing spectacular.
Really?
Yes, it's not. It's not. They're saying not a fantastic voyage. That's what.
Wow, I saw some other reviews where people said it was the best Star Trek of this series.
I hope so. I mean, I love that. I love that whole series. It's awesome. The memoriams they're doing for Anton Yelchin, who passed away unfortunately at 27, and then Spock, Leonard Nimoy, they have something for him too. So I mean, that's noteworthy in itself. So that's pretty awesome, right? Well, it's going to be released in Barco Escape, and for those of you that don't know what Barco Escape is, it's actually a panoramic view of the movie. It's panoramic.
Okay.
So you have 3 screens together, and there are 20 minutes of certain footage where all 3 will have the image.
Wow! So if they do like a huge space battle, that's gonna look awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna look amazing. And you're right. And I think that's when they should do it. I think that's when they should open it up, because I think it'll open then close. And Maze Runner Scorch Trials was the last one that was filmed this way for Barco Escape. So now you have this one, and you're right. If it does do that for the battle scenes, it's gonna look amazing.
Yeah, it definitely looks like you see ships from both sides, planets, stars. Awesome, and I didn't even realize that the Scorched Trials had anything, because that movie was garbage too.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that's why it was scorched. All right, so Shatner's not coming back. He says that he's not going to do any more Star Trek, so
look,
he's done.
We already seen them time jump with Shatner. We don't need to see it again.
Yeah, Shatner's done.
All right.
Chris Hemsworth, though, may return for Star Trek 4 as Kirk's dad.
That is awesome. It's funny because we just mentioned the whole thing with the original Kirk, and now we're gonna have the father of Kirk. And are they gonna do the same thing that they did in the old Generations film, where he's kind of stuck in a time warp and they have to go?
That's the only way that it'll work.
Well, they did the whole thing with Leonard Nimoy, with Spock, bringing him back. You know, saying that he was. I mean, obviously he got thrown out of the time loop by doing that whole little black hole thing. Yeah,
but wouldn't that throw everything off if Hemsworth lives? It throws off everything to Chris Pine's actual character now, because he's not William Shatner's character. He's the character that he grew up in those experiences. So how would that affect Pine's role?
Well, what if they go undiscovered country and they go back like what they
never seen it?
That's right, we're Star Wars fans, and I'm going in with my whole Star Trek thing. In Undiscovered Country, not Undiscovered Country, was it Undiscovered Country?
No, that's part 6.
No, it's the one where they went to go do the whales.
That's a Voyage Home.
Voyage Home, that's the one I'm thinking of. Great, so they do a Voyage Home where they go back in time. Now I'm thinking about it, they do a lot of time traveling in a space movie. They go back in time. So maybe they do the same thing, and they go, they went back in time there, then they went back in time for First Contact, and God, they do a lot of space travel, time traveling in this movie. So obviously it's a thing in Star Trek, so it doesn't even matter what the story is, because they always go back in time. In every series, they've gone back in time.
Okay, well, do you think that they'll actually go? Right now, Abrams says that they're not going to replace Anton as Chekhov, right?
So what are they going to do for upcoming films?
I have no idea. They can't kill him off.
They kind of have to then, if they're not going to replace him.
But if they do this timeline thing, they could recast him. Do you think they should recast him?
No, well, it's man, Chekhov's
he's a big part of the Enterprise.
He's a big part of the Enterprise. I mean, unfortunately, you have to kill him, or they could. I don't know how they filmed it, or maybe they say that he got a promotion and they move him to another ship. You know, that's the only other thing that they could do, and not referencing him really dying. I mean, other people have gotten promotion and moved on to other ships, and that's what Star Trek is. Basically, the military in space, but I'm trying to think. There's no other way that they can do it. It's like, but Chekhov's so big to the
okay, well, what if there's another Chekhov?
There's another Chekhov?
Yeah, that one's Chekhov. And then, what if there's another one that's related to him and he gets stationed, then they get a new Chekhov?
That's basically replacing it.
Yeah, okay, all right, well, my idea suck. All right, anyway, so Hemsworth, like I said, coming back.
Hey, we totally skirted the whole thing about Hemsworth.
Well, I'm getting into the Hemsworth thing. Freaking Beefcake over here is all in love with him. Okay, so he's coming back. Okay, fine. What is? I mean, look at him, man. He's like expanding big time. I mean, he had a great presence in Ghostbusters. He did really good in the Ron Howard's in The Heart of the Sea and Rush, and now he's
Rush got good acclaim. The Heart of the Sea really didn't do much.
Yeah, but that was a great movie.
Yeah.
But he's doing really good, and he's like trying to make a name for himself without Thor.
Right. Which you think?
And I think he's doing great.
No, he's doing these little comedy roles, which is basically
Vacation.
it's expanding him a lot. So I think letting him come into this franchise, maybe it might be something that he might want to transition into after Avengers is over or something like that. Or maybe they would see him leading his own other space.
Downey Sherlock Holmes, he can have another.
Whenever he gets back around to that franchise. But
we talked about it.
Yeah, it would be awesome. It would be awesome. But yeah, it definitely gives him more openings and more options as far as doing other things outside of the Avengers. And I think that seeing him in other roles takes him out of being typecast as Thor. So,
well, he's already, has played Thor, what, 4 times? 5 times? 5 times, yeah.
Okay, so
5 times.
2 movies, 2 Thor movies, 2 Avenger movies, and
3 Thor movies. Because he's doing it right now. He's doing 3. So that's 5. Right?
Yeah, it's 5.
So he's done it 5 times. Well, one that's barely getting into his boots and starting to get really comfortable with it, with his character and costume, is Ben Affleck with Batman, right?
Okay.
So he's shooting Justice League right now, and pretty soon they're going to start on the Batman solo movie.
Right.
All right. Now this is really interesting. It's a possibility that they're gonna go the route of Arkham.
Which is a pretty good idea.
That is excellent idea. Excellent idea.
The only thing I was thinking about it when I first heard this is that they are looking to, just like the video game, contain him into inside of Arkham Asylum, and then let him come across one, a lot of villains that we've never seen before, but 2, just villain after villain after villain, like in a video game. Like, this villain has this particular part of Arkham, this villain has this particular part of this wing of Arkham. But then I was thinking about that is that we won't really learn much about the villains, and will it seem a little cheesy? It was like, oh hey, I'm in the Riddler wing. Oh hey, I'm in the Killer Croc wing.
They didn't really do that in the game, though, did they?
I mean,
I remember right now.
Basically,
they did.
Yeah, basically they did.
Well, he's gonna appear,
except for the Joker kind of ran everything.
Right, he ran everything. He is gonna appear briefly in the Suicide Squad, so that might tie into how he gets stuck in Arkham. Arkham? In Arkham. Ben Affleck is writing. He's directing. He's set to start, direct, and write this movie with Jeff Johns. It is an original story. It might go according to the exact same storyline as the Arkham Asylum video game, or there was a novel that Grant Morrison wrote called Arkham Asylum: A Serious House on Earth. It's a possibility they might go and adapt that kind of thing. I don't know. I seriously doubt it. I wish they would just make The Long Halloween, because that freaking story is so awesome.
How about now that we're getting introduced to the villains in Suicide Squad, how about we get to see in that if they do Arkham, how about we get to see him, no, they won't be caught in Suicide Squad, but while they're there, maybe he beat them down while they were not. Maybe we reference those particular villains in Arkham, and then we show him dealing with them as far as them being villains in Arkham there.
Possibly.
I don't know if
it's possibly. There will be no Red Hood. People thought that it was going to be Red Hood.
That would have been awesome. I would have liked that too.
Hey, so get this. Okay, so we talked about it last week. We talked about Matt Damon making that comment about being playing a superhero or in this world, as long as Ben Affleck is directing.
Right.
Ben Affleck is directing this original story in Batman. Our good buddies over there at the GOAT podcast, check them out. They had a little thing on Twitter that said that had a display, not a display, but a picture of Matt Damon playing Hush.
Really?
I saw that, and that was interesting. I could totally see that.
Really?
Which Hush reminds me of Darkman, but whatever. Liam Neeson. There you go.
I would have to see that. Would have to. I mean, obviously it's just a fan thing right now. But if they actually make an announcement, I would have to see how they do it. It really, really interesting just for that particular storyline. But to see Matt Damon take on that particular character,
I would like to see Matt Damon in a villain role.
Okay.
Than because everybody knows outside of Hollywood or outside of work.
Matt Damon's a Joker.
He's like a sidekick or whatever. But I think Matt Damon's
the Riddler
as a villain. Really?
No, I'm just throwing stuff out right now.
I don't know. He was. Do you remember that Euro trip? He was.
Wait, he was a villain in there?
Yeah, he was talking. He was the boyfriend. He was talking trash on the freaking.
Oh God, I tried to black that movie out. Like,
like I said, and I always say this, he was Loki in Dogma.
he was Loki.
So he was the angel of death. So you never know. Either way, that I'm looking forward to it, especially if they go that Arkham Asylum route, because that whole story was awesome for Arkham Asylum video game. It was great. Wow. I really want the Long Halloween. That's the one I really want.
Well, if they're already
check it out if you haven't seen it.
If they're already talking Arkham, you're gonna get Arkham.
Another favorite that's coming back after 6 years is Shrek.
Really?
Shrek 5 coming.
Eddie, this is what you do. Really?
No Axel Foley.
Write me some jokes.
No Axel Foley. No Return to Stand Up. No Raw 2.
Man. All right.
Medium rare.
We get Beverly Hills Cop 4 and Shrek 6?
5.
I lost count. God. Eddie, come on, man.
Shrek 5.
Maybe Dreamgirls 2 or something.
He died. He died of heroin overdose, you idiot.
Back from the dead. Dreamgirls 2. Back from the dead.
For how many? For one night only.
Hey, look, hold up.
For one night only.
How many adventures can he go on with Shrek in these movies?
It's animated. It's like a freaking fairy tale land.
Wait, we're doing
far away.
We're doing Ice Age Part 5, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
But still, I don't want to see another Shrek film.
Well, first of all, it debuted in 2001, spawned 3 sequels.
Yes.
And a spin-off with Puss in Boots. And it has
a great spin-off. Are they going to do a donkey spin-off?
I don't know. I think that's a bit player. I think he needs to be a bit player.
So was Puss.
All right. Anyway, so Shrek Forever After was the last one, and because it was he had to go through his alternate timeline and all that with Rumpelstiltskin and all that. They could do a reboot technically. Should it be a reboot?
That would be weird to reboot an animated film.
I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool. I think with the alternate timeline, there's some things that they can play with, but okay. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. Donkey spinoff. I want to see that.
Donkey spinoff. Okay, this one's interesting. Okay, one of our favorite games is Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Right? Now, in 97, New Line released Mortal Kombat, starring Robin Shou and
awesome film.
Christopher Lambert. Christopher Lambert, famous for Highlander. Awesome, right?
You'll never see that one you don't hate because nobody hates that film.
That movie was so freaking awesome. The fight, some of the scenes, some of it's kind of corny, and I don't think Goro actually stands up nowadays. As far as
no, he looked like a giant Ninja Turtle with 4 arms. But yeah, you know,
but
back then it was awesome.
But the movie was awesome anyway. The freaking fight scenes were great. It was good. It was awesome. Part 2 was absolute. It sucked.
You'll never see that one you don't hate because everybody hates that film.
That movie sucked. Don't even bother. So now they made an announcement that Mortal Kombat 3 will happen. Should it be a reboot, or should it?
Well, if they call it Mortal Kombat 3, it can be a reboot.
Or should it? No, not necessarily. You can go different routes with a 3, but or should it be like a direct sequel? Or should they go the route of like the webisodes and Legacy with Michael J. White when he's Jax and that kind of thing? Because that's the one I want to see. I want to see Nolan's Mortal Kombat.
That was the intent when they did these things. Is that they want I don't know the director's name who actually came to Midway, not Mid. It was Midway at the time, right?
Midway. Yeah.
He actually came to them before they became NetherRealm. He said, hey, I want to do a serious, high quality Mortal Kombat film. Annihilation wasn't what everybody wanted to see, and people were fans of the original film. So he came to them with that idea, and they backed him and let him do his little webisodes. They went really well the first time. The second season kind of didn't live up to the expectations that were set from the first one, but that's where we were supposed to go. We were supposed to show in these 2 seasons that it could work and that it had a fan following, and then they were going to try to transition it into an actual film. Well, because the second season didn't do that well, they just kind of scrubbed the whole idea.
Well, it looked like the second season, like they watered it down.
Yeah, they watered it down. They recast people.
Yeah, and if they would have left it alone the way, especially the Reptile.
Yeah,
Reptile.
I was mad they recast Johnny Cage. Casper Van Dien. Come on, man. Casper Van Dien can't do a high kick.
But yeah, you like him in Star Trek Troopers.
Hey, he was awesome in Star Trek Troopers. Well, can be Johnny Cage.
Well, I think
can be Johnny Cage.
If they were to go this route, they have to go the Nolan route, make it more modern, make it real. For one, 2, what characters do you want to see? Because Mortal Kombat X now XL is like XL. Yeah, it's like freaking. It's amazing. What characters would you like to see come in like out in this?
I want a reboot, and I want the original cast. That's it. I want the original cast. The original cast from the.
Robin Shaw is old. You can't have
not that original cast, but the original cast from the video game. Oh, okay. Like I want Scorpion.
You just want Jai White in there.
I would like Michael Jai White in there, but see, he wouldn't in the original game, so. There would be no Jax, but I want Sonya, I want Scorpion, I want Sub-Zero, I want Raiden, I want
Ermac or any other robot?
No, none of that. That's what screwed up the second one by doing all these.
Ermac in there.
No, but they had Rain.
Oh yeah, they had.
They had Rain, they had Cyrex and Sector, and they had all of the cybernetic ninjas. Plus, they had the brother of Sub-Zero, and they had Scorpion back. Trust me, the movie was all over the place with characters. They did the whole
High Zero.
Was High Zero?
Was he below freezing?
He was. But they did too many characters in that second one, and then they recast, and the effects were crappy. That was them doing too much, saying like, "Oh, we have this other video game getting ready to come out, so let's throw in all those characters to hype that video game." And
Donald Justice. Well, either way, I can't wait.
But they didn't make a movie of Donald Justice.
I hope that they do. I hope that they do something. They do something smart with the series because it's exploded with the brand new video games of X and XL. You know what would be awesome though is that if they actually brought the horror icons in there, that would be sweet.
Dude, you know how long it took us to get Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah, but
you know how long it took us to get Aliens versus Predator?
But New Line owns.
All those characters?
Yeah, they own some of those characters.
So it would have to be through New Line, though.
I think New Line even owns Leatherface.
No, so the movie for Mortal Kombat would have to be through New Line.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, New Line is kind of like part of Warner Brothers, I think. So they would have enough backing enough to make it.
And then that's the case, then you could do a crossover with DC, and then they could
get the writers.
They could have Mortal Kombat in the next DCEU film.
Get the writers from the video game though.
Okay. Batman versus Sub-Zero, or Batman versus Scorpion.
They already. Oh man, that's awful. All right. That's awful. Can I get a new host, please? Thanks. Aspen, come over.
Hi. We're talking about crossovers. There's a crossover.
All right. No look past this way. All right.
Hey, you just talked about. You just talked about Injustice. Perfect crossover. They can do the Injustice movie
instead of Justice League, or.
No, I'm saying with the crossover with Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
They did. Oh, man. There's a crossover, Injustice.
Meanwhile, in the Netherrealm. All right. So, Ice Age coming out. Ice Age 5.
All right.
Shrek 5. Mm-hmm. And then we had a string of hits this summer with Finding Dory and Secret Life of Pets.
Mm-hmm. The kids movie sell.
They threw it out there. And it was actually a toss-up between ghost movies.
Ooh, ghost movies would have been good.
Yeah, I thought so too. But the winner voted by you guys.
Obviously, you see that we didn't want that one.
top animated movies.
I love animated movies. I can't wait for this list.
Time for our top. So during our little break here. Mm-hmm. During our little 5 time, he asked where Vanity was.
Are you really gonna go into this?
And Vanity's dead.
You know what?
Step into my office! You're fired. All right, so our top 5 this week is the top 5 animated movies of all time. All right. Voted by you guys. Terrence, go first.
All right, so for this particular category, we're not limited by it being an American-made animated film. It's
animated period.
It could be Japanese, so anime counts. It could be Christian, religious animated film. Anything that's animated does count for this. So, my top 5, starting with number 5, Wreck-It Ralph.
That's interesting.
It's on the new side. You know, a lot of times people feel like the all-time great ones are all the ones that were made back from Disney in the 80s or something that touched people throughout their whole lives. I think this one made such of an impact for what it was. It referenced the old as long as setting up new characters for this age for kids to grow up with, even though it hasn't gotten a sequel yet.
Well, it's been announced. It's been announced.
But I think it was an impactful movie, and I think it was a breath of fresh air for animation altogether.
Yeah, it was the original idea. No sequels or anything like that. It was an original idea. So yeah,
it brought back references to old arcades. So and
absolutely,
it was something that was great for what it was, and I think it did a great job. And it's my number 5. All right. So number 4.
Number 4.
This is when we go back to the I guess not 80s, early 90s, maybe 80s. Aladdin. I love Aladdin, and he should be actually higher on my list, but I had some other ones that I thought beat it.
Joe, right?
Right. Obviously because of Robin Williams' performance as a genie, but the songs in the movie. I mean, some of the most iconic Disney songs.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't just like how we done in a lot of Disney films where it was, white princess, white prince, and the same old story.
They didn't whitewash it.
They didn't whitewash this one. Everything was Middle Eastern.
Or did they? Robin Williams
as a genie
is white,
but he's blue.
No, but he played the.
He was the whitest blue person that you've ever made.
No, he was the salesman.
He was the salesman.
Dead Sea Tupperware.
Oh, that was a gag.
I'm kidding. Okay. Right.
But anyway, so Aladdin has some of the best and memorable songs, and like I said, it was the first time Disney had actually got out and everything referencing white people. Sorry.
He said that. I did not say that. Show me your password.
Right. Number 3. Speaking of white people, Toy Story. Toy Story, the franchise itself, I wish I could have put the whole franchise down for my number 3 because every movie that's been in the whole Toy Story franchise has been a great film. But it all started with the original one of Toy Story where we got to beat Buzz Lightyear and...
That's what started the whole computer generated...
Yeah, that's what put Pixar on the map.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
1995.
That film, and Pixar has taken off ever since. It showed the creativity with this particular film, and everybody had toys like this when they were younger. Mm-hmm. So this film not only appealed to kids, but even adults who remember playing with toys like this as a kid. So, and wishing that their toys actually talked, or did they talk when we weren't looking? Number 2, because this always has to be on my list. Transformers. I knew it. You got touch. I am a Lion fan because
of that movie. You mean not Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights when he's singing it?
I love that part in Boogie Nights because he sang that song. But this film, as a Transformer fan, I mean, it was everything that you wanted watching the series, reading the comic books. A full-length feature film that was serious. It wasn't something that was kind of like, oh, we're gonna cheese it out for little kids. No, they swore in the film. It was the first time I heard "damn" in a cartoon. And I was blown away. Ultra Magnus, you messed me up for a little bit.
Huh? He messed you up.
He messed me up for a little bit. But anyway, the film is iconic. Michael Bay has yet to improve on what was done in that original animated film. All right.
He's trying.
And my number 1.
Number 1, what is it?
Lion King.
Lion King, that's a good one.
Lion King. I mean, we were just talking about iconic songs with Aladdin, but you can't get more iconic than Lion King. And we brought in James Earl Jones into the movie. It was like, man, he made you feel like, man, that's a king lion right there.
More noteworthy than that is that his wife and him are King Joffrey Joffer, parents of Eddie Murphy in Coming to America.
Oh yeah.
Those two are.
But that has nothing to do with Lion King. But the voice talent that we had in there, we had like Cheech Marin, and we had Whoopi Goldberg,
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, exactly. Just the characters that were in it. The Scar character. Everybody that
Jeremy Irons was excellent as Scar. But even then, Ernie Sabella, who played the pig. Pumbaa, and then Nathan Lane did really good as Timon too. So he had some really good voice.
Yeah, so all the voice work in it was great. Everybody was perfectly cast for that film, and they've yet to improve on it, and they've done tons of sequels for The Lion King. But that one is the one that nobody forgets. You show it to your children, and no matter how old this film gets, it's iconic. It's one of the very much classics of Disney. So
I am absolutely shocked that you did not put Akira in your top 5.
We will mention that one later.
Alrighty then. Well, my number 5, actually, I'm gonna start it with it's an old school one, but I'm gonna start it with heavy metal.
Wow.
Now you want to talk about the first time I ever heard a cartoon cuss?
Well, yeah, a lot of things.
They did a lot of things in that movie, and it was freaking amazing. The music was great. Some of the animated scenes. I mean, the animated graphic and all the graphic scenes on there were freaking awesome, man.
You know,
I mean, that was back in the 80s, you know, in the freaking 80s. But it was so good. So you know that's definitely my number 5. Number 4 is Monsters Inc. I just love that movie. The chemistry between John Goodman and Billy Crystal is awesome. Monsters University is also great. But that one just sticks out. I could watch that movie over and over again. And because I have a son, I do watch it over and over again. All right. Number 3.
Go through this all the time.
Number 3 is Transformers the movie. Also.
I see. Give me crap. It was on my list. Of course.
Oh no, absolutely. I love it. It was amazing, and you're right. It was. I didn't know Spike could say shit. Yes, he did. I almost forgot. And they always edit that. They always edit that thing. You have to find it like on VHS or something like that.
I have it on VHS.
Yeah. So you cannot watch that movie the same if you've seen it back in the day, because I saw it in the theater when he said that word, and it was like, what? it was awesome. So I absolutely love Transformers the movie. Number 2 is Spawn. I had to pick Spawn.
He made a mention about something that was going to be on this list.
Well, no, it's more than that, but the animated Spawn is just, I mean, man, it is so dark and graphic and just amazing animation. Amazing animation. You're Spawn.
Does it count as a movie, though?
Yes, it does, because on the disc, it's a 2-hour runtime. 2-hour runtime. I think on HBO when it came out and it was separated, I think it was like 30 minutes. Okay. It wasn't an hour, so it was like 2 hours and change, something like that. But it was when you put it on that disc. I mean, it's like it's nonstop. It's amazing. Okay. It's amazing, and it's kind of graphic. It's very disturbing at times, but you cannot, you can't shy away from how good the animation is. No,
I'm a Spawn fan. I love that. I love that series.
Now you're a fanatic, so tell me, was that Todd McFarlane that drew that?
No, I mean, he didn't do the animation, but he helped write some of the stories.
Yeah, it was just awesome. So that's my number 2, and my number 1 is also Aladdin. Number 1 is Aladdin, and because of the amount of freedom that Robin Williams was given to just completely let loose.
Basically, that was Robin Williams animated.
Yeah, basically, and the whole scenes when he's doing all the different celebrities. Jack Nicholson,
even though
Rodney Dangerfield,
they would have no reference.
Yeah, they would have no. Who are you doing? But it's just hilarious. I mean, he even threw Arsenio Hall in there. I mean, that's just freaking funny to me. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that was Robin Williams at his best. It was just amazing, and when he passed, I mean, that was like one of the first. That and Doubtfire were like 2 first that I thought of.
Which is why they should never remake this.
They should never remake Aladdin. Absolutely not. So. Awesome movie. And honorable mentions. Okay, now this is the one I was talking about. I didn't even think about Spawn the way you thought about it. G.I. Joe, Arise, Serpentor, Arise.
Why don't you just call G.I. Joe the movie?
I was going to say that, but Arise, Serpentor, Arise.
No, that was a series.
Awesome. I can't say that was a series because it's also one whole thing.
It's a series. G.I. Joe the movie, which would have been acceptable.
Yeah, G.I. Joe was good. G.I. Joe was good. Okay,
acceptable for the list.
Hercules for Aspen over there, because James Woods was just absolutely amazing.
You know what?
He is so funny in that movie.
I wasn't that big into Hercules. I started to watch it later with my kids, and I started to get more of a fondness for the film, especially because I forgot about Beyonce doing what the not the goddesses or the chicks that were singing the songs.
Yeah, in the background.
Yeah, the little I want to call them background singers. They were the Dream Girls. But I was like, oh yeah, Beyonce does this whole thing, and I was like, and their little songs that they did, it kept you into it, and watching him do the labors and stuff, and I was like, oh, you know what, I kind of like this film.
Yeah, and then another one was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I figured you'd put that on your list.
Angry Birds. What? That movie was freaking hilarious.
I know. I talked about new stuff on a list.
Angry Birds is funny.
That's too new to be on this list.
That movie is freaking hilarious. I love that movie.
I mean, if you want to put
and Monsters University also incredible.
I actually like Incredibles is
really good. So Fantastic Four, but it should be Incredibles. Incredible 4.
Honorable mentions for me, since you already touched on some of the ones I was going to mention. But looking back, like you said, Akira is on there. Ghost in the Shell. We're looking at Japanese anime.
What about the old school, The Fist of the North Star? Fire and Ice.
Oh my God, Fist of the North Star.
Fire and Ice.
Fist of the North Star. I'm surprised I didn't put that on my top 5. But Iron Giant. I used to watch that movie every single day when I worked at Blockbuster. God, I used to love that film. Kung Fu Panda. I love
Part 2.
No. First Kung Fu Panda. That's the best one. And South Park, the motion picture.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. How about Batman Assault on Arkham? Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. I was like, wait, that was kind of sort of.
That was awesome. That was awesome too. There is one now, guys. It's on. It should be on YouTube if I remember watching it. If you ever have time, check out this one called Dot and the Kangaroo.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dot and the Kangaroo. It was an old school show that old school movie that they showed in HBO a long time ago. I mean, I was freaking like 10. I don't remember.
Back when HBO first actually got started.
Yeah, no, it was home box office, not HBO. And the cable box was Rogers Cable for those of you in San Antonio. Anyway, but Dot and the Kangaroo was an awesome. It was actually a pretty nice, nice little animated movie there. So check that out when you get a chance.
I have to look that up because I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, Terrence, take us home.
Okay. So today's top 5 was actually a really, really good one. So I'm expecting a lot of stuff from you guys in the comment section to tell me what your guys' top 5 animated films were. Or let us know what we missed on our list, because we actually gave a lot of honorable mentions, because I'm sure there's probably a ton more that's out there that could be considered somebody's top 5. So make sure you put them down below in the comments, and make sure you like, so we know that you like what we're doing here on the show. And as always, make sure you subscribe. If you already subscribed, tell some other people. Let them know what we're doing here. Subscribe so that way they get to know everything that we do on this show and for our channel. And you can become part of our community, because I forgot what I was going to say for a second. But that's all I got.
Shout outs to Angel and the boys at the GOAT podcast. Got some, they always have some pretty good stuff, especially on Twitter. You guys check them out. They're awesome. They're doing this really great thing as far as a bracket of superheroes or superhero movies or something like that. They're fighting it. You know, they're like kind of like March Madness type. Amazing idea, guys. Y'all keep up the good work.
Oh, actually, I have one shout out now because I just thought about it, because I just saw it on Facebook today. And hopefully, if you guys are watching the show today or whenever this airs, congratulations to Sincere and Prince Solomon, because they just announced their engagement.
Hey, all right. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Watch that morning breath, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. For Aspen in the back, I'm Manny.
And Terrence.
And that was the goods.